your design is going according to plan, what would a visitor to your class see?
They would come in and they'd open the door. Well, no, they'd be standing out in the hall, and all of a sudden there's this big burst of laughter coming through the door, and then they would walk in the door to see what all the commotion was about, and everybody would be kind of, the laughter would be dying down, and be talking to each other and kind of smiling and stuff, and then I would yell out and I'd say, okay, now I'd shut them up and I'd talk, and I'd be saying something, and I'd have there'd be pictures on the screen. Maybe there'd be, a movie, there'd be a lot of sort of visual stuff going on. Maybe there'd be specimens up front I'd be talking about. They'd all be listening completely quietly. Everyone would be listening. The room was filled. So every seat's filled. And they're taking notes, and then that goes on for maybe 5 or 10 minutes, and I ask them a question. 12 hands go up. I respond to several of them, and it engenders other questions from the students, and they're discussing things. And then at some point, I say, and there's still more hands up, and at some point I say, well, we have to move on, and we go on to something else, or whatever. And so, they put their hand down, and they kind of they're disappointed they didn't get to ask their question. They note something down, they go up and ask me after class. Okay. And then at the end of the class, they all stand up and applaud. I haven't quite gotten to that point yet, but that's the ideal lecture class. Characteristics of legs that indicate speed. Okay. So here we had these three legs we brought in. I showed you last time. I didn't bring in the same overhead that I had, so I haven't got all the notes written on there. So hopefully you've got them in your notes. Armadillo, coyote, antelope. Increasing speed as we go to the right here. Quickly review for me what we decided, what we observed as being the features of a leg that's fast, or the features that you associate with a leg that's a fast one. Up on its toes, slender. So the faster is more slender than the slower one. This one's actually walking the tip of its toe, whereas this is walking on metatarsals in this case. This is the hind leg. Loss of digits. So this is antelope. It's walking on 2 digits. Horse walks on 1 digit. The coyote is walking on 4 digits. This is walking on 5 digits. It's sort of loss and fusion of tarsals and metatarsals. Metatarsals and metatarsals.
Length and metatarsal.
Okay, there's an increased length in the metatarsal. What else? And increased length in the tibia, so that the overall lower leg, or the bones distal to, remember that term, distal to the femur are longer than the femur. Fibula is much reduced, and in fact here it's practically nothing. Okay. Okay. I think that pretty much covers it. Now, those are observations based on 3 legs of 3 different animals that we know what their speed is. And we'll get to your grizzly bear question in a little bit. So the idea, now the reason we're doing this is so that we can hopefully learn rules by which you can judge the speed of